When you hear the household name Hershey, what comes to mind are chocolates and some of the world's finest candies. However, this popular household name initially belonged to a poor farmer boy in a small community in Pennsylvania. Young Hershey didn't have much, but he had a tremendous love and passion for confectionery as well as a commendable character. He chased his passion, making the best chocolate products of his time, and even now, long after his generation has passed, the quality of these products and the strength of his character continue to speak for themselves. This is the story of Milton S. Hershey and how he went from being a poor farmer boy to a globally renowned chocolatier. We at Business Chronicles tell extraordinary business stories. Please subscribe to our channel to help us make more videos. Milton Hershey was born to Veronica and Henry Hershey on September 13, 1857. His parents led very humble lives. They lived on a farmhouse in Derry Church and were members of the Pennsylvanian Mennonite community. As such, young Milton grew up under the strict discipline of the Mennonite faith. Unfortunately, his parents weren't very stable. Therefore, they moved around a lot. This instability affected Milton's upbringing, and as a result, he could not complete his education. He stopped attending school after the 4th grade. In April 1862, Milton's younger sister Serena was born, but unfortunately, she died in 1867, leaving Milton as the only surviving child of his parents. After he dropped out of school, his mother enrolled him as an apprentice for a local printer, Sam Ernst. Milton had little interest in printing papers or watching people do it, so this job lasted only a short time. However, his parents noticed his interest in confectionery, so they encouraged him to take up the candy trade. When he was 14 years old, his mother arranged for Milton to work as an apprentice for a man called Joseph Royer. Royer was a confectioner who worked in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Milton worked under him for 4 years. He learned the art of making sweets and chocolates, and in those 4 years, he decided to dedicate his life to making more of these delicious treats. In 1876, at 19, Milton left Lancaster for the big city of Philadelphia, where he opened his first candy store. The business did well initially, but the good momentum didn't last very long, and ultimately his first business attempt was what you would call an epic fail. Instead of quitting, he decided to learn even more about candy making, and so he went to Denver, where he learned to make caramels from fresh milk. With a more profound knowledge of making confectionaries, Milton traveled to Chicago hoping to give his business a second shot. This was also a failure. The third attempt was in New York, and that crashed as well. His dreams were falling to the ground right before him, and even though he was very discouraged, Milton never gave up. Instead, he decided to return to his roots in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and this decision marked the beginning of his success in the confectionery business. Milton returned to Lancaster in 1883 and established the Lancaster Caramel Company, which was successful right off the bat. Within just 7 years of its inception, the company already had 2 factories with over 1,000 employees. Even with this level of success, Milton wanted more. He never gave up an opportunity to learn more or improve his methods. In 1893, Milton Hershey attended the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, and it was here that he became interested in chocolates. He was particularly fascinated by the German chocolate-making machinery exhibited at the event, and he ensured that he learned about the workings of this machine. He purchased the equipment and took it to his caramel plant in Lancaster, where he made various chocolate creations. After seeing the wonders of the chocolate machine and considering how the chocolate market was slowly on the rise, Milton made the bold step of selling his caramel company. In 1900, he sold Lancaster Caramel Company for $1 million along with all its factories, and used the proceedings from this sale to establish Hershey's Chocolate Company. Now, starting from scratch once again, Milton returned to Derry Church where he was born, and in 1903 he built a chocolate factory right there in his hometown. He chose this location because of the proximity to the large supply of fresh cow milk, which was necessary to produce the perfect milk chocolate. Milton learned this from his years of experimenting with the chocolate-producing machinery. At the time, milk chocolate was a Swiss luxury product, but he made this luxury available to the American public with his self-made formula. The company's first product was Hershey Bar, followed by Hershey's Kisses in 1907, and Hershey's Bar with Almonds in 1908. In very little time, Hershey's milk chocolate bars became the first publicly marketed milk chocolate, and their chocolate manufacturing plant became the world's largest manufacturing plant. Milton Hershey's ambition did not get in the way of his humanness, and he found several ways to give back to his community using his chocolate business. Setting up a massive plant in a remote area wasn't the only thing Milton gave back to his hometown. He converted the area around the factory into a model town by constructing roads, houses, schools, churches, and transportation channels. Eventually, this area became known as the Company Town of Hershey, Pennsylvania. By the early 1900s, Milton had become one of the wealthiest people in the country, and the more successful he got, the greater the extent of his philanthropy. He and his wife Kitty, whom he married in 1898, could not have children of their own, so the couple set up a school for orphan boys. This school is known today as Milton Hershey School. In 1918, 3 years after his wife died, Milton willed his entire fortune to the school. So not only are his assets owned by the school, but Milton also gave them the power to keep control of his companies. Over the years, the school has retained the majority of the stock and control of Hershey's Chocolate Company. It also has total control of Hershey Entertainment and Resort Company, Hotel Hershey, and Hershey Park. At the end of the day, Hershey's Chocolate Company and the Milton Hershey School were the achievements Milton Hershey was most proud of. Milton died of pneumonia on October 13, 1945, at the age of 88. He was interred at Hershey Cemetery, which he built on Laudermilk Road in Hershey, Pennsylvania. He was buried alongside his wife and parents in a town that loudly echoes all of his most significant life accomplishments. Milton Hershey was a fierce businessman who didn't give up on his dreams no matter what. But above all else, he was a passionate humanitarian who did everything he did, intending to put smiles on people's faces. Even decades after his death, this quality still rings through. Whether through his chocolate company, his charity organizations, or the different establishments built in his honor, Milton Hershey continues to put smiles on people's faces globally. His life is indeed a great inspiration. We've come to the end of this video. Let us know your thoughts about Milton Hershey's life in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.